Workshop session. Today is Friday, July 15th, 2022. Good morning. Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Brett and let him run through our three applications that we have this morning in preparation for our public hearing that will start at 9 o'clock this morning. So, Brett, good morning.
All right, good morning. We'll start here with the C-store development. And I haven't really talked through with the applicant a lot of these, but I think I can figure out some changes that they definitely made. Some things that we see obvious, they looked at this corner, took our advice. This square right here is their required obelisk that they have for the music thing for that area with the amphitheater. And then they did a nice job with the double steps. And it looks like they're still working with that bubbler fountain kind of thing up there, which we think is awesome. It appears that they've moved the buildings maybe back just a little bit into this sidewalk. I think it was more of a full sidewalk before. That's not really an issue for us. It's up in their thing. But I think what it allowed is a little bit better grading down here. So allowed for things to happen a little bit better there. They changed the plaza a little bit. If you remember, they had the trees all kind of centered right here in the middle. So they've changed that a little bit. I didn't really see anything else on the site plan that really changed a lot. So as you can see, they kind of are still working on some more development of the trees and the landscape. They've got this filled in more. They've got a sodded area. I like that it's not just a straight 4-foot path along the sidewalk. They've got it kind of meandering a little bit, give it some interest. So I think that's an improvement. Zoom back out here a little bit. I believe it feels to me like they got rid of the wall that was here. If you remember the wall that stretched along this entire side here, I think that's gone now. They've still got, I can't really tell because it says pavers, so I don't know if they're just kind of delineating flat space kind of for the restaurant or if it is still a little bit of a wall there. I think they got some little walls here, but nothing major, not the big 4 or 5 footers I think that we had before that was really taking up that pedestrian view from the sidewalk. I believe that this building is their first choice. They showed a browner tones and then this gray tone. I believe the gray tones now, I've heard in the last few days, might be their first choice. They've gone now, as you can see, they got rid of the upper story. So this is the West Side Parkway view. They got rid of the upper story storefront, fake storefront, and they've bricked it in. It's hard to see. I can really zoom in here, but they've bricked it in with the herringbone pattern and changed that a little bit. So I think that's a big plus for us. One thing while we're right here that the consultant talked about that unfortunately the applicant has not heard or seen yet, but one thing was making these a little, I don't know, what would that be considered, Richard?
Deeper or steeper?
A little deeper arch maybe, instead of a pretty flat one, making it a little bit deeper. And look at maybe lowering this a little bit to more line up with this one, the clock tower. Let me zoom out just a little bit. You can see they're a little bit off. So he said consider dropping that.
So, all right, Brett, this is the latest version?
This is the latest.
The most current version?
The latest version that I know of, yeah. Yeah, and I'm seeing some heads shake out there, so yeah, I believe so.
'Cause
One thing that,
it looks different than a version that I have from maybe
okay.
ago. But anyway, we can figure that out when we get to
So
it.
one thing that also I wanted to let the board know, I think we need to think about is this white membrane roofing on this rear elevation here. I don't believe there's a sight line in here. It is pretty up the hill, so you're gonna have some benefit in that. It's close to the sidewalk, but I'm just afraid, like maybe, you know, coming across Encore, you look over there and you're gonna see the backside of that big white backside of that parapet wall. So we can ask the applicant when they're up here, you know, if there's something, if there's another color, maybe a black even, something like that, or some treatment that they could maybe do to it, I don't know, that would make it white. At least just in what you know, this view here, what you might see. From the parking lot side, you're gonna be substantially higher, you'll never see any of it, and it's the back side of the wall anyway, so.
So this faces Encore?
This is the West Side Parkway facade. Yeah, but this wall
Yeah.
is interior. So it's not the wall out here, it's the one that's,
Inside the project?
that's the front wall of the inside of the project. So it's, I don't know, 40, 50 feet return from the front wall here. So I don't think you'll probably see it from the site, but I think it's worth noting that you might see it from the street. This is the other end of the building, so the patio's out here, the other building, secondary building is over here. Again, got rid of the storefront. I think it's nice that they added these lights up here, because it makes it look a little bit more like there was something.
Helps break it up too.
Yeah.
But I think they've heeded a lot of our comments that we
I think there's a
had
lot of comments addressed here,
from
yes.
last month.
Absolutely. I think the staircase even looks different to me for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but I think it looks different. You know, and I was like, where did we do an open staircase like that? And I just couldn't remember. And I was out doing a rough inspection for the office building and storage just down the street there by, yeah, and we did an open, they have a big open staircase on that sidewall of the office building.
Okay.
I've seen that also over at Marriott at Old Roswell and
Yes.
one-
And we've got the open staircase on the building right out here on the Jekyll building. Yeah. So if that's the look they were going for, I think it really ties in well with the building, you know, that kind of just plain metal open stair. Then this would be the smaller building. Obviously, this is the lower level. I think we need to maintain these on that lower level, even though they don't believe they're gonna tenant that lower level of the building. I think it just, I don't know, I think they just need it to stay. The uppers, though, they've got that. And then the storefront. I think they've done a nice job thinking about the sign band here, whether it's gonna be, you know, 3 tenants or, you know, what it'll be there, so I think they've hit that. So I think it's a vast improvement from the first. It's addressed a lot of your comments from last meeting. So I think whatever, you know, whichever way you guys want to go, but I think it's pretty good.
And last meeting, let's see, so we approved the site plan last meeting,
Yes.
so that's been done. We deferred or see, we got exterior elevations and landscaping to look at this month, okay? And then I think, let's see, so last month Pat was not here. Holly, you weren't here, so looks like you'll be excused from this discussion, so. Okay, and then Tom, but we've got everybody else.
Yeah, and Katie was here, yeah.
Yes, she was here. Yeah, and I know Katie's running late. She's now president of the Alpharetta Rotary Club, so she's gonna miss the workshop sessions, but she's here in spirit.
Yes.
She has very insightful influence, so she has relocated the meeting across the street.
Closer to, okay.
But now she can just run across the street. So if we hear horns honking and tires screeching around 9 o'clock, it's Katie coming. Okay, so Lucy's Steakhouse. Y'all struggled hard with this application last month.
I wouldn't
I
call
don't-
it struggled.
Well,
They started painting before they came to us, so.
yeah. I don't really like for applicants, and I really try to push them away from bringing options. But in this case, I think the options that they brought helped make a definite decision.
And well, we asked for options specifically.
And
last
you
time.
did ask for different options, but I think it was options to get away from the brown. And so they went to the gray tones, and they've done 3 different,
Yeah, the gray tones are
versions.
definitely better.
yeah, I think the
Yeah,
gray tones
for
are
sure.
better. While we're perusing the 3 options, one comment came out of staff, and it was to think about painting this rock, which is just a little bit fancier split face, but painting it the same iron ore. Instead of leaving it the kind of browny stone color that it is. We didn't really feel like it goes with the gray. It almost looks like, why, it's gonna be so fresh, and then this is old. Why didn't you just finish it? And I think the dark, even though you don't usually do dark top and bottom, I think the dark will look really well with landscaping that they're coming next month with. So you guys be thinking about that while we're looking at the photos here. So
Yeah,
this is option 1,
Gray.
all the way around. And then we're gonna go to option 2, where they've highlighted the soldier course and the herringbone areas, and these little small herringbone areas in the thing. And they've done that all the way around. I think that really, really adds to it. I think it breaks the wall up a lot. Looks pretty good. Now, staff's preferred is this option, where they've darkened these up and not done the herringbone. I think these need to be dark though, and they may have just missed that. But I think with the dark lights that are already there, and I think this might have been the elevation when we said, hey, what if that was painted too?
But you did say they're coming next month with a landscape.
They're bringing a landscape plan next month. Well, that's what I've been told. I've talked to their landscape designer. We talked through the entire site. So I believe that they're gonna do that. There's a good bit of deficiency out there that they are gonna have to replace anyway. So
Yeah, it looks like.
they don't need to wholesale start over, like the outside tree barriers, things like that. The tree islands are pretty good. They've got some nice parking lot stuff, but the stuff that's right at the building is just not fared well without any care for 3 years.
You think is it irrigated, or is it
I
just
don't
maybe
know.
just
I'm
been
gonna-
turned off,
I'm gonna bet it's irrigated, it's just not
been used or
Yeah.
maintained? Okay.
like walnut.
Are they gonna paint is that dumpster enclosure on their property?
It is, and they'll match it to whatever. So there's their There's their thing.
And I don't believe those are the colors that are out there now.
They're not.
Okay.
They're not. I am pretty partial to agreeable gray. The entire inside of my house right now is agreeable gray. Pretty partial to that, so, yeah.
I thought you'd have been intellectual gray.
No, I can't get that smart. I'm not
That's his middle name.
Okay, so,
Let me back up too. Again, Ms. Palmer unfortunately can't participate in that one too,
Right.
so. All right.
see what happens when you're gallivanting around Europe?
Okay, all right, next.
I probably should have done that, but I wasn't even, Okay, this is the Public Center, Alpharetta Commons. It's out Frank's neighborhood, way out Old Milton Parkway, basically right at Kimball Bridge.
The one that has a Wendy's that we just,
The one that we just saw, the Wendy's, yes. This is right behind the Wendy's. They're not changing great. I mean, the colors are, I think, fairly close to this, but they are painting, and they're going to the kind of gray tones as well.
Yeah, it's more beige, more
Yeah,
of
it's
a
a little
beige
beigey
tone
brown,
tag.
yeah.
Grayish, yeah. This is more gray.
So I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
They'll do the sign.
Any existing landscaping issues out there at the center that,
I did not get out there to look.
Okay.
But it would be worth our normal mentioning.
okay,
All right, and then the last ones that are on here have been withdrawn, so.
you know, is that like all the way around? Are they not doing the back?
They are, and they should have that with them today, the other three sides.
okay.
Is there a dumpster enclosure out there or anywhere?
There is in the back, yeah,
So maybe that might need to be painted as well to
Yeah,
to
yeah.
match.
You know, what is they're doing that, they're like that dark, like the one that's on Main Sound. I'm trying to remember.
I think so.
And Chick-fil-A seems to be going to these.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A's going similar, yep. And the Chick-fil-A out there's done now, they did their canopy and stuff, so, and they did the iron ore is their color for their canopies and, yep.
Okay.
Urbane bronze, that's the other color in my house. Urbane bronze.
My old one, my shirt.
Okay,
And-
that's
and-
that.
And Holly, you can join us for this application. How about that? I'm not sure where you're gonna be, but, all right, any questions on Alpharetta Commons? All right. All right, let's adjourn the workshop session. Go get your coffee cups filled up, and let's get back here and get started at 9 o'clock. All right.
Do the pledge and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Do I need to, like, say, or what he said? I mean, do I need to say, or will he just excuse me?
I think he'll just excuse you, yeah.
I'll never be able to do that, so it's fine.
Yeah, that way it's noted. I don't think you need, you're not really recusing yourself.
Abstaining.
And yes, it'll be barbecue and a bar. Very.
But that's not gonna like bring people in.
No.
I was like, and I love the smell of barbecue, but after a little while, it'd be like, over it,
Yeah.
you know?
Like all the people working all day at Rome.
Yeah.
Did you bring me a pen from downstairs?
Ed,
Oh, did you bring me one from downstairs?
you want these?
Sure, I can use it.
What do you need?
Wind it up.
Wind it up. You're good.
All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board public hearing. Today is Friday, July 15th, 2022. Glad to see everyone's smiling faces this morning. Just as a reminder, if you'll make sure your electronic devices are either in the off or silent mode, we'd certainly appreciate that. And our first order of business this morning is roll call. So looks like everybody's here except for Pat Corkle is, I think, with his triplets somewhere up north on a lacrosse tournament or lacrosse game. So he is missing this morning, but Miss Madeline is here filling in for Pat. And Mr. LeCain is not with us, but he's an alternate, so he's allowed to be excused. All right, with that, let's all stand. We'll face the flag and have the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you for that. All right, do we have any items from staff this morning?
We do have one large item on your desks there. You can see we have upgraded your technology a little bit.
Okay,
Able to definitely see the elevations a little bit easier now.
very,
Because there's no protection on
There
it.
was no protection.
Well,
Brett's
yeah, they'll be here today. They just came in yesterday, and Alex worked feverishly last night to get them loaded up so that they could be used today. So
okay,
some new technology from the Technology City of the South.
very good, all right.
Okay.
Does that come with a tutorial or a training session? All right, very good.
It should work exactly like the other ones. Those are the pro models, though. So
Should.
we did a little, supposedly our IT team did some little studying. We have some pretty big PNG and PDF files that come across for some of our boards. And you guys had noticed in the past some really lagging when you're trying to go through them. So those are really robust. So we shouldn't have those issues anymore.
Okay, thank you for that. All right. Anything else from staff? That's it. All right, very good. Anything from board members this morning? Anything? I'll
Happy
say-
anniversary to you.
Oh, okay, well, thank you. Number 40,
Amazing.
so, very good, thank you. All
Welcome
good.
back, Holly, from Europe.
Thanks.
Glad you're back.
Grazie.
And congratulations to the president of the Alpharetta Rotary Club, starting July 1st, so.
Here, here,
All right,
you made it.
a full year, looking forward to that, so good. All right, anything else? All right, let's move on. We've got our meeting minutes from our June 17th, 2022 meeting that Alex has taken. Gosh, I think that's one of the longer meeting minute, 11 pages of minutes, so you've done well. You've been listening to us, obviously, a lot. But thank you for that. Any comments or changes or items
Do we
on?
on minutes?
I had sent Alex a few things. I think you've made those changes,
Those
right?
have been changed.
Okay, all right, very good. Yeah, no, I picked up on one of those too. I think it was, the word "and" was misspelled or something like that, so, but, okay. Anything else on the meeting minutes? All right, can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes, please?
I move that we approve meeting minutes from June 17th, 2022.
Okay. All right, we have a motion from Ms. Rocco, a second from Ms. Rhodes. Any comments or questions about the motion on the floor? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the City of Alpharetta's Design Review Board meeting minutes of June 17th, 2022, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All opposed? No opposition. Minutes are approved, 7-0. Very good. All right. All right, our next order of business is, first applicant this morning is Amazing Development C-Store. You're here. Come on down. Come on up, please. You're with us last month, so with that, since Ms. Palmer was not here last month with us, you will be excused for this application and the next one. So enjoy your coffee, your bagel. All right. Good morning.
Chairman, board members, back again. Thanks for having us. Got some new faces here today. Again, my name is Stephen Jones with the law firm Taylor English Duma on behalf of the applicant Amazing Development Partners. I'm accompanied today by Mr. Amazing Development Partners, Sal and Johnny, as well as Ray Myers, our landscape architect, Ken Hartel with Continuo, the civil engineer, and Jeff Todd with Lorient Design, just the architectural firm. I think Brett, in your pre-meeting, did a good job going over the revisions that design professionals have made. Chairman, I think you made the note that we had addressed substantially all of the comments. I'll cede to Mr. Todd, Mr. Hartel, to discuss those additional changes and go through, I think, some of the comments that the consultant made. I will note that your consultant made some comments about lowering the height of some of the parapet walls, the clock tower and whatnot, and we're fine with all that, as reflected, I think, on his comments, which you may or may not already have. Do they have it?
They do not have it yet.
Okay.
The chairman has it. Stephen, is it the revised or the third?
Third.
Third.
I'll tell you what, let's do this. Are we going to go through, let's look at the site plan first, just to see, because there was some mention about maybe the buildings got shifted back a little bit, and we've got some stairs, I think, and so forth. So why don't we take a look at the overall site plan first, and then we can hit the building, if that works.
Morning, everyone. I'm
And if you want to come over here, I'll give you that mouse again. Alex ran and got it. Because that worked pretty good last time. I can get this to pull again. There we go. Yep, there you go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ken Hartel, civil engineer from last month. The site plan's pretty similar to what was seen last month as well. The biggest change was the addition of the two-level, I guess, two-tiered stairway kind of towards the front corner there, just to allow a little bit more pedestrian interconnectivity. We still have the obelisk front and center, as well as the bubbler fountain as well. And then as far as the building shift, it was shifted ever so slightly, maybe a foot or so, very little. It's effectively the same plan. It just made our grading function a little bit better. But those are really the only two changes to the site plan. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
So it seems like you have really at the intersection now allowed pedestrians to be have a lot more access to between the two buildings.
That's correct,
Okay.
yes.
With using that kind of grand staircase, if you want to call it that. Okay.
Yep.
And there are staircases on each side as well, right?
Yes, that's
That you had
correct.
last time are still
Yep,
there.
and those are still here.
Can you just zoom in a little bit on that, or whoever's,
Looks like it crashed.
oh, uh-oh.
We're having a technology issue over here.
Have a
Do
technical
you need,
difficulty.
yeah, would you like our new iPads?
It was a bad choice.
Oh, well. Uh-oh.
And it's
Okay.
different than what we have here.
No, it should be the same.
I can give them that.
Just put it on the overhead, but no, that's not it. Okay, we're making progress.
Perfect. Yep, so we still have, this is the grand staircase, as you call it, it's a good name for it. We also have the staircase up here along West Side to allow pedestrians to access the upper level. And then we also have this staircase here between the two buildings for the same purpose, to get up to the C-store level.
And what's in the middle, going through the landscaping on each side?
So I believe that's a walkway to get up for ADA access.
Right, okay.
Yep. And then we have the same one over here to the south. So there's one on Encore and then one on West Side.
Okay, very good. So the building's essentially shifted a foot, you said, probably to the rear of the site, all right?
That's correct. Yes.
So was anything on the rear of the site impacted by that moving?
It was not. The rear is exactly the same as it was previously.
Okay, because I know we had some double stacked walls back there because of the height.
And those walls are still there, and they should remain the same height as well.
Okay,
So on the front, you're not that high above the street elevator. For some reason, I thought I remembered it was raised up more from.
Yeah, in the previous meeting, we had some renderings that kind of were misleading. It was only about a 5-foot jump up from the road to, I guess, this plaza area. So it's not that extreme, so that's why we only have a few steps here.
And it's 5 feet at the corner, and it's less as you kind of go back.
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
Because those ramps then, I guess, if they're ADA compliant, then it's not that much of a slope.
That's right, yep.
And that ramp, the ramps go from sidewalk to sidewalk?
Yes, that's correct.
so looking at the, if you call the plaza level, that is pavers?
Yes,
That's what the hatched is,
Yes.
okay? And then how about maybe the concrete, the grand staircase? Is that just concrete? Is it pavers? Is it,
I believe right now we just have it as concrete.
okay? And then how about,
Concrete with stone and cheek walls to match. The cheek walls on the side will be stone to match
okay, if you'll speak into the microphone, there you go. Yes,
the stone cheek walls would match the same aesthetic on the street where there's the bench areas and those cheek walls that are on all of the three corners.
okay, very good.
That's the intent.
And then you'll have handrails, obviously, for the stairs too.
Correct.
Okay. And then I assume you'll have a handrail or a railing around the plaza, parts of the plaza area too.
So I don't think any of those, there's fall protection issues. So
Okay.
the amount of wall is actually minimal, if at all. It's more like a seat wall
Okay.
type height.
Just trying to make sure everything kind of flows.
Correct. So the intent, so basically the slope from the sidewalks and the corner intersection slope up to basically grade, which is what the plaza is at. There is a small, on the plan left, there's a small cheek wall just to make up a little bit of the grade.
Right along there, okay.
And it looks like from the plan, it's a 4-foot knee wall on the front of that patio.
You're talking about this L-shaped wall?
No, the one right on the edge of the patio, right at the bottom, yeah. It looks like it's annotated as a 4-foot knee wall, non-retaining.
It's definitely non-retaining. The slope is entirely contained within this grassed area right here.
So it's actually above, basically goes above the patio, 4 feet. What's the material on that wall?
Not sure on that one. I don't think we've specified it yet.
Okay.
And then between the two buildings, another staircase. Looks like a lot of steps there? Or is that,
That's correct, yep. It's to get from the lower level to the upper level. I'm not sure how many steps total that requires. I
what's the height difference?
think 8 inches
8.
per step. So if
Oh,
it's
it
a
should be
13
7.
difference, or,
So it's 13 feet.
yes, that's
All right,
correct.
so you'll have a landing in there then?
We'll probably need one in there, that's correct, yeah.
Okay. And even maybe an intermediate handrail as well?
That would
'Cause
make
that looks like, it looks pretty wide. 11, I guess it's 11, is that 11 feet?
It is 11 feet, that's correct.
Okay, yeah. So that's really another grand staircase in there as well?
Right.
Okay.
As long as you mentioned that L shape, is that L shape a wall, or is it just detail in the patio, or?
It's just a separator to separate the restaurant patio from the rest of the plaza. I don't think we've determined it's going to be a wall. It may just be like a fencing to separate the patio area from the rest.
Okay, and we still have the water fountain or the bubbler of some sort.
That's correct, yeah. We have it right at the top of the staircase right here.
All right, and has that been designed or selected?
Not yet, it has not.
All right. Brett, is that something that staff would feel comfortable if they present what they're gonna?
Yeah, I think we can do that. I think it'll need to probably either be very simple or go something along the lines with the obelisk, kind of
Theme.
feel and thing, as it's a feature right there with that. So, I think a floor bubbler is, probably the easiest thing, and you don't really,
It's not meant to have children or whatever walking through it. This is for just looks.
That's correct,
Okay.
purely aesthetic.
And what about the patio materials? What pavers you're using? Do you have that specified?
The intent is to match the streetscape corners on the paver component.
So the whole plaza and the patio would match the
Yes.
corner brick
what is that?
pavers?
What's that material?
They're they're concrete pavers. I think it's like a three-piece system, if I remember correctly, the other corners. And that would be the
So it's in
intent.
the public sidewalk?
Yeah, it's that same that's on the corner and all the other three intersections.
Okay.
So we're just trying to extend that up into the site so that it feels like it's all part of that as opposed to,
And you've seen that, you're able to match it?
yes.
Okay.
There's no supply chain issues or anything of that nature at this point? Okay, I know.
I guess, I'm trying to think, what is that? I thought I remembered that those pavers are kind of a more red, orange brick color.
Miss Matherly made.
We remember? Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking, we haven't gotten elevations yet, but I think you're going a little more gray on the buildings, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, we need to think about what that reddish, orangish paver next to
Sure.
a gray
I mean-
building is gonna look like. I'm not sure that's
We
the
haven't,
best material.
that's sort of the general idea now, is just to work with what was that, generally around the area. Certainly can go to a different color range. But on the street, it would match the other three corners. When we go into the plaza, if we wanted to go to a gray range type paver, but the idea is it would be a concrete paver.
For reference, would you like to see the color? I can pull it up on this, but we might.
No, if you can just kind of walk it around
Elvis.
and start with Miss Matherly over there and then,
It's a little bit brighter than that, though.
Yeah,
in
it looks a
person.
little muted, yeah.
okay. In fact, as we talk about this, I guess we have different, so we've got the grand staircase, then we've got I'll call it the lower plaza level, then we have the patio, then we go up the stairs up to the upper plaza. So are the pavers all the same throughout all those areas then? Is that the thought? Or is there some,
That was the general intent,
Okay.
correct? Was that it was all gonna feel like it was the same.
okay,
So, I mean, to your comments, if the street pavers want to match the other three corners, which I certainly would
I
strongly,
think definitely on that.
Oh, yeah, on that.
yeah,
that, we'd certainly, going into the plaza on the lower level and the top level, they can certainly coordinate more with the building and be a gray range. That's,
I was just looking at the way the hatching is done on those different areas. It looks
there's
a
gonna
little
be
different.
some detailed difference, but it's gonna be the same. If
Okay.
it's herringbone, or it's gonna be the same style. It might be one is herringbone, one's just 12 by 12 paver, that kind of thing, just to differentiate those spaces.
So it sounds like you've got with the patio and the plaza, and there's still some details to work out, on what's the material for the knee wall, what's the separator between the patio and the plaza, what's the materials for the patio and the plaza. All right, so those are details we need to see at some point.
Understood.
But I do like you've made it a lot more pedestrian-friendly from the intersection there, instead of having to walk up either sidewalk to get back up
For sure.
to the upper level, so, okay. Any other site questions for the applicant this morning? Okay. Why don't we go ahead and jump over to the buildings then? Look at the exterior elevations and materials on the buildings.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name's Jeff Todd with Loring Designs. I will be the project architect on this project, architect of record.
If you want to come over here, you can use this mouse and walk them through the buildings and such.
Okay, so we have added we have added the brackets to the front, to the top, and some cornice groundwork.
All right, so this elevation, just kind of orient us, if you will, which is this elevation, on which building?
This would be the C-store building, correct? Yes. So it would be the building that is on the right of the site plan.
On the right, so this is the one that's facing primarily West Side Parkway then?
That's correct.
Or parallels West Side Parkway? Okay.
Yes.
And
All right,
this is
thank
the
you.
Interior elevation.
Okay.
Yeah, so this would be,
Looking towards west side.
yes.
Wait,
No, this,
Yeah,
From the interior
Yes.
site,
you're,
interior elevation.
you've just pumped gas. You just parked your car and pumping gas, and you're walking into the, okay.
Or you're driving off really fast.
Okay, very good, thank you. Now that we know where we are.
Okay, and I just noticed we are showing an intermediate landing on that, which is not reflected on the site plan. So I
Okay,
believe
good.
that's probably the way it's going to be. And probably, even though we're not showing all the uprights, it's probably going to be an intermediate rail due to the width of the stairs. And so we have changed our siding to brick siding, which will be, I believe it's going to be the dark gray, which is this brick selection. I don't believe, I'm trying to see, the ephes color is still this, correct? Even though that crochet is making it look really dark.
Might be a little darker because
Yeah.
trying to get the right colors.
Right. Okay, thank you. It's pretty heavy.
Or just put that on the side, there you go.
I apologize, we've just
Oops.
altered the board from the last time and removed the materials that we're not going to use. And so,
So the darker brick, or what looks to be the darker brick, which is W1,
I believe that's going to be this brick right
so
here.
that's, okay. So that's called the Belfast Gray? Is that what's being called Belfast Gray then?
Yes.
All right.
And so we have this cornice treatment here, which I believe is going to be ephes. The brackets will be a man-made material, a synthetic material. We went with a herringbone pattern accent on our bump outs at the corners, and as a entablisher here above the windows. The awnings are going to be sort of an industrial, like a C-channel awning system, more of a heavy steel type rather than the light aluminum. Just our storefront glass. And this is our entry element. I know there was a comment about possibly lowering this. We were hoping to keep this as identifying definitely as the entrance. But we are susceptible to your recommendations of the height of this. We were hoping that, I think one comment was maybe making it all the same. I would hope that we could bump it up a little bit just to identify it as the entrance.
Or else you've got the clock tower, which is over there to the right. You know, does that become the prominent feature, and does that get Does
It
that
becomes a
become,
prominent feature from the street view, from the
I
corner.
see, okay.
I don't believe, in perspective, it will even be seen
yeah,
from
that's
this
true.
elevation.
I guess that's true.
1 second, I'm not positive that we've got the most recent elevation up here.
Oh, okay.
Because I think this material has been revised,
We
correct?
go, so here's your drive. Which one? Third revision says 714.
The one I sent you. Yeah, see me.
Did you download your package?
Yesterday.
Okay, I did mine.
What's your concern? With the concern?
Usually wait till Thursday in case it
I
changes.
did it Wednesday.
Maybe he did. You mean right here?
Yeah, all this one. Said to continue down here.
Did he?
So that's the,
Bear with us here, Matt.
Yeah, I think he
yeah,
added that.
Let's see.
I haven't turned my laptop on.
this seems to match what they have there.
Does it seem to you a lot of brackets? A lot of, oh, you talking about up here? You know. They almost get lost. Purpose of that. Or so you space them apart a little bit more, probably about every foot, so.
Is it more of a dental molding color or is it
Yeah,
brackets?
it's brackets. The molding is more of a square,
that was-
flatter.
It's red, so he added it.
Yeah.
He added on the B line.
Yeah, that's true. 'Cause it makes it busy.
So there should be 3 different brick, W1, W3, and W4.
You can,
Yeah, that's what I was trying to,
Yeah, see, there's W3.
and they only
yeah,
have
he did that on the lower elevation too, Brett.
boards, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the,
looks like the one they might
So,
be missing is
That's a sticking
whatever
point.
the frame is, that they're gonna label as W3.
Oh, they were talking about lowering the clock tower? Or I thought we were talking about lowering the entrance.
The consultant has said to lower the clock tower, to lower this,
three of them.
and he's also added this pattern. He's also expanded.
You know what? That's interesting.
But this is still up above. so-
W4
South.
and W1 are the same brick.
Oh, they are.
One's just herringbone and the other is a running bone.
Oh, okay.
That's what they've done. So there's just two brick, okay.
Velour brown.
I
Okay,
didn't
velour
notice
brown.
that. And I think this has to be,
This is velour black.
the W3 is, gotta be the black.
Channel.
Here we go. So that's the consultant.
This is the top of
I
the
think he's
board,
got it
yeah.
backwards. I think the velour brown is the lighter,
I agree.
so the main body is the lighter color.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and which
Okay.
which I think makes more sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just figured. It took the two of us to figure it out. Okay,
okay, we have, I have to go through.
you figured
You
it out.
you were looking at the correct versions. So I sent this to the consultant for architecture for his thoughts and comments. He superimposed a couple things that I thought were there on the last plan, but they actually aren't. They're his. So I think the best thing to do is to run through his view real quick, and then we'll go back to the others. The applicant is reasonably okay with what he commented about lowering the tower and things like that, but from an operational standpoint, you're gonna see here that the consultant has talked about doing divided lights here. The applicant would like to maybe work through that a little bit. They don't believe that's really functional for them operationally. But the other things that he's mentioned, they're okay with. I did just see this, that I guess his thought was just remove that. In that, it would have kind of been like a stair tower, so you might have had a light in there at some point, a window in there at some point, but
Brett, why don't you zoom in? why don't you zoom in on that front elevation and see, because I think this is, the comments that you're talking about are new to all of us here this morning. So give us just a minute maybe to walk through what the consultant has suggested on these elevations.
So everything that's red, he's added. This is a representation here. He's just grabbed this and lowered it down to what he feels was a little more appropriate.
Okay.
He's expanded these a little bit. As you can see, the center here was what it was. He's kind of expanded that a little bit to be a.
Well, he's made it taller,
Yeah.
and now it interferes with the hanging brackets for the canopy, for instance. So we have to kind of take into account some of these.
Go into that or
Some of these.
how that works.
Okay.
Above the door,
Next to the thing above the door.
yeah, so that's not in the plan anymore, or?
Well, these are just these are
This
the
is-
consultant's comments.
Okay,
So it's not what the applicant is, and I just got these last night, or
Oh, okay.
yesterday afternoon, so I didn't even get them sent to the applicant yet. So we're all kind of gonna work through them here just a little bit.
Okay, now this is the West Side Parkway
This
elevation
is the West Side Parkway elevation.
on the C-store.
Yeah, so as you can see, he's proposed, he felt like lowering the clock tower just that same, the same distance of whatever you call this entire entablature up here. He just has dropped it down one section, changed the curves. He felt like the curves needed a little more curve to them.
By dropping the spring line, yeah.
What's this say? Eliminate false window at the tower element. So both sides, he's eliminating that center thing, is his thought. And then adding these mullions into the windows.
Go back up, same elevation, just scroll up the top. Okay, so we did talk about in the workshop session, I'm sorry, stay the west side elevation there. We did talk about the extent of the rear or the back side of that parapet being very tall.
Yeah.
So if there's any consolation in lowering that.
Yeah, so
That-
what he's saying up here is dropping it basically to this frise board, I think is what that's called. Dropping that to the roof level, that would bring this here down to here.
So that may help minimize if that TPO white membrane is exposed from that side, you wouldn't necessarily see it.
Yeah, if you're gonna
Or
see
there'd
any
be-
of the taller portions, you're gonna see first.
There'd be less of an
If you drop
opportunity.
that down, there's less opportunity to see it.
And I assume that it is a white TPO membrane that you're running up the inside of the parapet for waterproofing and so forth, okay? All right, just trying to digest the suggestions from the consultant here as we,
I'm just gonna put my opinion out there. You guys can take it. I know operationally upstairs, this might not work necessarily for you, and I'll let our professional architect here and you guys kind of weigh in on that. But I think this makes this a lot more family friendly, just feels like. Could it be different?
are you talking about the storefront windows?
The storefront windows on
Yeah.
the West Side Parkway side?
Well, it helps break them up so they don't look like a storefront window. It gives it a little character, so to speak, and it does kind of, now, again, I kind of like it. It adds interest, the way the windows are divided. I don't think we need to do the entire storefront in all the divided lights, but I think
So do you
just,
think you could not do it here, but
no, I think you need to be consistent, and I think you need to be consistent, whatever we're gonna do. That ties, because it is the same building and it ties it all together, so, I mean, that's my
You
perspective.
said, the applicant said they don't think this works for them. What's the Why not? Did I hear that correctly, or?
I think it's a visual aspect. I'll let him speak, but from the inside.
It's more of a visual aspect from the inside. With customers going out, you see all these metal, mullions and stuff, and it takes away the interior lighting and all that, the way the design is for Circle K. It will interfere with the signage and all that.
So let's go back up to the front elevation. Okay, so this is the Circle K store as such.
Correct.
Okay, so you walk in, you pay for your gas, you pick up some snacks or whatever you're gonna do, okay? But now the west side Parkway elevation, is that gonna be a restaurant or retail or
That's
other?
the intent for the restaurant.
So that's
Lower level is a restaurant space.
restaurant space, okay.
I mean, I guess I could see doing the mullions on the street side, so the street view has the mullions, because I do think it looks better, but on the interior side, you're not gonna see that from the street, that's only gonna be there, anybody that comes up into the plaza, right? So personally, I don't know that it needs, my view, that it needs to match all the way around. I would like to see that from the street.
I think if you were to, I mean, they're already divided in the center, right?
Right. I mean,
So we're
initially
doing
it
the
was-
top half, which is at, basically, what would this height be? 7 feet minimum?
Yeah, you probably have some
Probably.
fedoras.
So anybody that's, I'm just trying to think through operationally to help a little bit. Anybody that's, the cashier is standing floor level. So if they need to see out, they're actually looking through the clear.
It's
Now, you
more-
talked about signage, but signage here in Alpharetta is gonna limit that.
It's gonna be interior signage. All the
It's
stuff.
not even gonna be able to be on the windows interiorly.
No, it's when your customer's walking out, you see it from the inside, right? Like thank you and all that, the sort of image is inside. And I believe, correct me, I think the interior height is 11 or 12 feet
For the ceiling,
for the ceiling.
yes.
So when you go down, I mean, the impression that we get, because, all along the building, what Circle K recommends and stuff, the more light that comes in and all that, it makes it look brighter and stuff.
I don't disagree with that at all. I was thinking along the more safety line and somebody standing at the cashier, they're looking out, they're still looking through the clear glass. They're not really
No,
bothered by
they're
the
not looking up
mullions.
there, they're looking.
Yeah,
inside,
yeah,
yes.
they're looking below it. I think it adds a lot to the feel of it, and I think, just my opinion, we need to remember that we're really residential. We're not in a commercial zone, even though this is a commercially zoned piece. You don't really have commercial other than the
gonna have the other-
amphitheater up the street.
the
that's
other building.
Right there with you, so, but I feel, I understand the operational thing that, people talk about, so
Yeah.
it'll be, that's up to you guys.
I don't know that the argument that it blocks light is, mullions don't block
If this is something
an
that's.
appreciable amount of light, though.
This is something that's definitely needed, right, by the board. We can make it kind of tweaks to it and figure it out. All the design
The
elements that
trim is applied.
we're working through from the previous
Still
comment.
storefront glass.
Some of the stuff that we feel like where the consultant is saying lower in height and all that, we feel like those were the highlights that would identify. So if you guys want to make the tweaks, we can make the tweaks, changes. We're open to it anyway, right? We have spent a lot of time and effort trying to figure out what would look good for this corner and how we can highlight this corner.
And we appreciate that. You've done a much better job of what we've seen today than what we saw last month. So you have,
Previously, we were going with a little bit of more contemporary and
yes,
traditional mix.
yes. And now
It
this,
wasn't jiving the right way.
right, I think we're heading in a great direction here,
Thank you.
so.
Yeah, it's very close, we're just fine tuning now, right?
Yeah, I think you mentioned tweaking some of the things here, so. Let's just take a look at scroll down a little bit so we see the front elevation and okay.
Just for context, let me jump back quickly, just for a moment, to Brett's comment a moment ago. This helps put this in context for me to see this as a neighborhood market, because you have people who live there who are going to love walking a block or two down the street to shop at a place, and it brings that sense of neighborhood together.
Okay, all right, so,
These two things were the other two big things that he felt needed just eliminated, was his thought. I think that's, it's one half does the other to me, but I mean, I can see what the intent would have been in a stair tower. You would have wanted lighting there with a window, and then you don't use it as a stair tower or whatever, so you brick it in like the rest of the stuff. So, you know,
Wouldn't it make the tower go away if it was more the narrow window in the middle?
I think, yeah.
Because that just kind of looks off a little bit.
well, and you get into the stair tower, it's got an intermediate landing, so that's why things get,
Yeah.
it does make it a little busy, so maybe that's what the intent is, just to, that becomes some more running bond brick rather than a faux blocked-in window, for instance. Okay, so,
So
yes.
same elevation.
So if you took those faux windows out, you would take those other two elements and just extend them, the other two brick detail elements on the tower?
I think what I would do is take the top, the skinny herringbone top piece and run it down to the sill
Just
of
bring
the
it
main,
down.
yes, right there. That's all you do. You eliminate the false windows and bring that skinnier band and herringbone down to the, and then it does reveal itself as a separate element. It's not truly part of the building, so to speak. It is like a stair tower or something. See, and I'm not so sure where the hands are right now, enlarging that herringbone above the windows there.
Yeah.
Because you've got the brackets that are holding that kind of industrial canopy up, and they run back to the wall, and you want them to be into the running bond brick, not into the recessed area. And that's where the sign, that's where maybe a sign is gonna go too, and so,
It's super busy.
yeah, yeah.
I think it's too much, I
Yeah.
agree. And then the last, taking that out,
Yeah, I think that can be
I don't
taken out as
care
kind of
either
a,
way on that one.
so I
And
guess
the
we're gonna have to pick out the,
Yeah, the radius on the windows, so it looks like he's saying make it, he actually drew like a radius, like make it truly a radius of a circle.
Yeah.
you know,
And this again
I don't know that I
is,
care.
you guys go work through, but the applicant has said they're good with all the comments.
and they've read all the comments.
They just looked at the comments.
Okay, because I'm not sure I've read every comment up here, so.
They do want to remove this because they feel it's
It-
going to be odd with their sign. It's going to be up here. It's just not going to look right.
And do an awning instead?
Is there any kind of,
Because the consultant said an awning, recommended an awning there. Okay. I think that would make it more prominent. I mean, don't you typically want an awning at an entrance?
well, especially if it's raining or inclement weather, you want something that kind of, you're not running,
Yeah, I think it needs some sort of an awning there.
Yeah.
Well, the door is set back a little bit, I'm not sure.
Oh, because this is the bump out.
Yeah, it's about a 2-foot setback, so it's already covered slightly.
Awning would.
That's why I think the awning may look awkward, because you already have a ceiling element there, and then you're gonna have this awning extending it further.
Get rid of that brick though. I think it would.
It's gonna look tacked on, in my opinion.
I think the brick takes away from your sleek facade that you're looking for.
Yeah, they want to get rid of this.
Yeah, but it needs something. I don't think it.
Well, remember, we're going to have some sort of a
logo.
sign right up here. So that's going to give that element some breakup.
So you want to drop those goosenecks down if you're not gonna have that.
I think that's a good thing. Maybe drop these down more pedestrian level.
Yeah. No? I don't know. Those doors are
Thinking-
how tall?
I'm sure the doors are probably 7 feet tall.
That's probably 7, and this is probably
Other-
another 2 on top of that, probably 9.
Three.
The ceiling height is like 11 and something.
That's probably 3 feet or,
Depending on structure, we try to make it as high as possible. 11 is desirable.
I could go either way with the canopy there or not. I mean, I think you're looking for protection of your customers, if anything. Yep.
So we do get some rain here sometimes.
Okay.
I think a canopy would be more functional.
I think those are wide enough.
It would create a good focal point as well, visually.
Okay. Again, this is a much better improvement than we saw last month, so I'll say that.
The clock
think
tower
we're-
is great, whoever designed that. Looks nice.
Yes, yep. Okay, any other elevations on this building, Brett?
Can we clarify the brick colors?
Oh,
Can we do that now
okay.
or after?
Let's do it now. Let's clarify. Okay. Let's go over to the legend on the right-hand side of, okay, and let's go towards the top, Brett, and then zoom in a little bit for us. I'm making you work here. Okay, so we're looking at W1, which is a Cherokee brick, and it's the Belfast gray. So which one is that?
Okay, now that, interestingly enough, this says velour brown. These are the old colors, I think. Maybe. Because this says Belfast gray, and in a package it says velour brown.
Oh. Well. Because then I'm looking at W3, which is the velour black, and then you look at W4, it's back to the Belfast gray, but it's the herringbone pattern. So there's really only 2 brick colors it looks like, or 2 bricks. And yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, none of those are gray, I don't think.
The word black is not there.
How quick can somebody get to the Cherokee Brick Company's website and look at the?
Got it.
I believe that this color is correct. This brick color is not the Belfast gray. I don't know if there was an issue with getting the sample from the manufacturer in time, but we do, unfortunately, we do not have that color.
So the upper brick, you think that's the black, the velour black, or whatever? What's the name of that?
This is the correct color, I do know that.
The velour black. So that's velour black, okay. And then somebody's just pulled up.
This kind of ties in maybe a little better than the Belfast gray, but like I said,
Yeah, it's a question.
for some reason we were not able to get that sample.
Okay, and on our monitors now, it looks like Brett has pulled up the Belfast gray.
There you go.
Okay,
I don't know if it's just the resolution on it, but it does not seem to match, but it does
Well,
in the dark.
yeah.
It's so,
It's got the flashed, every so often flash
it's so
brick.
variegated, it easily could be, and there's just not a lot of gray in it,
So
in those options.
So maybe that is correct.
It could be.
Let's look at then, what was the other one?
Yeah, I can't find the other one. Velour brown?
Velour black.
Oh, you're talking about, it was,
I think it probably, I mean, from the namesake. And it does, if it's black, it does pull out the darker flash brick in the Belfast gray then. So they do kind of complement each other.
I'm not finding that one.
Maybe that is correct.
Here it
I was
is.
thinking this was more of a.
V-E-L-U, there's a U in there.
There it is, yeah. It just looks very dark.
Yeah, okay.
Which is probably right. I mean, those colors go together.
They seem to, yes. Okay.
Velour dash black.
Don't forget the dash.
There you go.
So that
Okay.
makes it the correct, yes. This is questionable. If you went back to that, that upper left-hand monitor seems to show it more
Identify that
this.
whatever color was presented, that they don't switch it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It seems to show it in a more
I
warm
think what
color.
they got is, yeah.
I think
that
those
is-
go.
I think this is correct. according
looks-
to the upper left-hand corner monitor, that seems to be more of a warmer color.
Yeah.
It just shows a little grayer
It's
down
just
there.
the way that, yeah, it's the sample that they have ended up getting, but I think that black, that's that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, looks,
And so you're gonna do it with the light gray like is shown here, mortar?
Yes.
Which one, is it the?
This would be the,
I guess it is kind of
Who's that?
brownish gray.
yeah,
So the one that's in between there.
this is pretty good earth tonish. Okay. Well, in the rendering, it just appeared much darker than it really does, so that's why we like to see the actual materials, okay? Okay, so the main body of the buildings, or the building, is the Belfast gray. All right, and the accent then is the velour black. Got it, okay.
and I apologize, I was thinking that this did not look like the sample, but now that I look at it,
I think
Okay.
it's- Yeah, I think it's just where you, when you have all that variegated color in there, it's just what ones they happen to pick.
All right, now, while we've got that elevation there, let's see, the Nishiha. What color is the Nishiha then proposed to be?
And unfortunately, the Nichiha was removed, but it is a sort of a burnt umber color, which is closely represented there.
All right, Brett, how nimble are you in getting to the Nishiha website and looking at burnt umber? We're testing your skills this morning.
It actually said redwood on the diagram.
Yeah, it says redwood. It says red, see if you find redwood anywhere. Maybe it's wall panel. Or would it be an architecture? No. There it is, on the right-hand side. Right hand, well, we go back up, top right. Vintage,
Is it redwood? Is that the color? Redwood?
that's what it says on the, yeah.
And this is redwood. Depends on the rendering. Stop it. Redwood.
Okay.
Basically looks like redwood.
I think it'd be decent with that, with those colors.
It'll definitely stand out as an entrance.
And those are meant to be panels then, obviously, probably about a foot or 2 feet, maybe they're 18 inches.
They're 18 inches high.
Okay.
The panels are either 6 or 10 foot.
Long,
And,
okay.
yeah, and we would stack them till you get the reveal lines all.
So there is a reveal between each of the panels then?
Yeah, the panels have a beveled reveal already built into them.
Okay.
It's a rain screen system that stands away from the sheathing. It's ventilated in the back.
Okay.
But yeah, you can cut the panels, and there's a metal trim that can go in between the panels, which would show the vertical lines that we have.
Okay. All right, and then you did say, so that where the Nishiha is, and it returns on the sides, because it
Yes. There's
protrudes out a couple
two ways
feet.
you can do that. There is a corner trim that's provided by the manufacturer that matches the color of the panel, or they have a 4-inch corner that turns the corner. But so you would have a reveal line if if we went that way. There would be a 4-inch reveal line away from the corner, 4 inches on each side. So you do get the material actually turning the corner.
Okay, so the face of the Nishiha and the face of the brick, what's that?
I think there's I believe there's a 2-foot difference.
Oh, so that's 2 feet then?
I
Okay.
believe so. Is that, I'm not sure the updated floor plan.
So I guess, yeah, they must.
That bumps out. It's standard.
It would be nice if it stands out a good,
Slope pay standard is to have a 2-foot bump out, from the main wall to the wall of the, entry elevator.
oh, is that the floor plan?
Well, that's actually even more.
Yeah, that's like 4 feet, because the doors are 3.
I wasn't aware that it came out that far.
Okay,
So, yeah, so there would be quite a bit of, siding returning back. And then there would be a ceiling joint
okay.
where it meets the brick.
All right, that certainly helps understand that. Well, and it gives it a good shadow line too. You've got some depth in
And
there.
that would, if we could go back to the canopy, question, now that we know that that's a 4-foot, cover, are we still recommending the canopy?
I-
I'm okay.
No, I think that's, yeah. Well,
Okay, so
We're gonna have to work, we're gonna have to work through each of these comments,
this
yeah.
is going away. We're dropping this down, we're dropping this one down. What's your feelings on this area here that we're gonna see that?
I think if anything, you're gonna see the pop-up, that's what you're gonna see, if anything, but now that we've just lowered that, we're minimizing the exposure to that. I mean, you can't eliminate it from folks across the street, I don't think. You follow me? I mean,
Is there anything, is there another color? Is there something, brake metal or something that can come over from the top down?
so it's a rubberized membrane, so it kind of, no. And they can get it in black, but then it generates more heat. So this is a reflective material, so.
That would be my recommendation, if we did not want to do the roofing. You can get another, color roofing, but we would not want to change colors, because it's a change in the materials. We like to have a full sheet that goes up, for waterproofing. But like I said, we have done, ethos, back there.
Or wrap the nishi, huh?
I guess the question is, how much are you really gonna see and where are you gonna see it from?
Yeah, this is definitely if we're gonna see it,
You're standing, you're 30 feet above the road right now looking at it.
yeah,
And you're gonna be looking up.
you know what this parapet height might, just guess, if you're 11 here, you're probably 14 here, plus another 4, so another 10, are you 25 feet up from this floor level?
So our floor to floor is 14, so the C-store, we're at 11, and we probably got 3 feet.
So that's 14.
3 feet of
28,
interstitial
so
space.
you're 28, and he said it was about 5 feet at the intersection, you're 33 feet up, that's,
But that faces Encore Parkway. This is facing Encore Parkway.
this faces west.
You're over, that lower parapet there is over 30 feet above the floor. Just looking at the ratio of the 7-foot high doors at the bottom there and interpreting that up. I think you would have to be across the intersection before you see some of this at the top, some of the backside of the parapet.
You would see it from the stoplight, the intersection of the stoplight.
When you're on the other side of the traffic light.
Right, as you're
Yeah.
coming toward the
You got
property.
trees in front of it and stuff too, so
You,
I bet you're right. I think if we get that one lowered,
I think it,
I don't foresee it. Plus, you're gonna take the top 6 or 7 inches off with your metal cap of the weight. So,
and it doesn't stay white forever either, so.
it'll be green, it's
It gets,
green soon.
well, it kind of tends to, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
Anything else that we?
And also, I'd like to add, that is a straight-on view, from the corner. I mean, obviously, if you're directly across the street, possibly, you will see that. But these side cameras are gonna block quite a bit of that. If you're off angle just a little bit, much of that is gonna be blocked.
Yeah.
Jeff, relative to that elevation and the whole building, I have one question, comment that's a suggestion more than anything. You're using those brackets in there, which is commendable. We don't see people use enough brackets for this type of architecture. You've got a lot of them in there, and I'm sure you have evaluated how to space them. It looks to me like if you spaced them a little wider, they would express what you want to without having so many. That's just a suggestion.
And that was a comment when, Nate is my boss, we were discussing this, from the last, review meeting, and I was hoping to reduce the number of brackets. And if that's acceptable to you, I would like to do that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Save money.
Yeah.
It looks pretty busy.
And I'm not sure if, we just looked at some examples of brackets in the area, and they were close to that spacing, but they were much older buildings, and the brackets were probably not as expensive. But yes, if you guys would allow us to do that, I'd like to decrease the space, or increase the spacing, decrease the number of brackets.
Certainly.
So maybe reduce them by a third?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. That would help out tremendously.
I think it makes it less busy up there at the freeze, along the freeze board. Okay.
This is the end of the C-store, correct? That's the, yeah, going.
Right, so we do have an entry, or it's actually an exit from the C-store.
From the C-store.
And everything else would be faux. And so when we're talking about eliminating the windows from the tower, we're talking about that one also.
Yeah, I think this one.
Yeah, I think you can, makes it,
In that elevation right there, it really looks odd.
yeah, it does.
Looks crowded, yeah.
And I can see, again, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. You got a gooseneck fixture on the right-hand side over the canopy that's over the door. If you, no, to the right there. No, little more left, Brett, left, right there. You know, it's almost like all that's doing is shining on top of the canopy that doesn't do any good, so. Okay. I mean, I think the elimination of the, I'm going to call it the larger faux arched window in the stair tower, I guess that's the stair tower or whatever that is.
Like on the other side, you kind of talked about bringing this one down to the bottom of the window?
No, bring it to the main, see the big arched window to the right, and you bring it down to that.
To the sill.
Intermediate, either to the sill or the intermediate. Line it up with something.
To the sill. I'm guessing they added that gooseneck on the right to make it symmetrical with the one on the left, right?
Yeah.
And the arch on the windows, I mean, I'm personally okay with the arch they have. I don't know anybody else feels. Anybody else?
Back and forth with a jack arch and
Yeah.
a true arch, and so there was sort of a compromise.
Yeah, okay.
So is this a jack arch or is this a faux jack arch?
No, this is a true arch. It does have a radius to it.
Okay, but
There was
the,
a discussion of doing just a flat jack arch.
But it's
but
very
the individual bricks in a jack arch are then, each brick is unique to make that jack arch happen.
You're
Are
talking
you-
about a brick kit that
Well,
the brick manufacturer makes.
yes, they
and
do.
They're all individual. I would prefer to use those. I've used those
Okay.
in the past.
And
Especially on the larger window, I don't think that the variances in the mortgage joint would be so profound that it would, on the smaller windows, I would push for a brick kit.
that kind of pre-manufactured, yeah. If everybody understands a jack arch, the individual bricks in a jack arch are actually cut skinnier at the bottom than at the top so that you do get that arched effect.
Yeah, the
Which
mortgage
is a-
joints would stay
stay even.
And the change in the radius.
And that's when masons were really truly masons, and not that they are now, but,
And when I was I was practicing in Roswell, we did quite a few of those arches, and the brick kits they were not.
As well done?
Well, no,
Or,
they were not as expensive as
Oh,
I
okay.
imagine they are now. Also, I don't think they're used quite as much.
okay.
If that's going to be an issue,
No, that's not, I'm not worried about
we
that.
will pursue the altered brick, but it may be cost prohibitive.
No, I'm not too worried about that.
Okay.
You're too far away to see it.
And another trick I use is you try to get, in the arch, you would change the mortar so it doesn't pop out as much.
Yeah.
Change the mortar color.
Are we good on that building? We want to move to the
Well,
smaller building?
now that you mentioned it, what is the mortar color?
Up there, under the button.
We do have a
Where is it? Oh, that's the
It's a
mortar
light.
in there? Okay.
Kusa Antique Buff, which is a lighter color. We're trying to lighten this up a little bit.
Okay.
But like I said, on the arches, we'd probably change that to a darker, more color too. If we go with a very mortar joint, kind of make that go away. There was a comment that I wanted to address, the bricks above, the storefront between the canopies
The bricks
and the
above.
storefront.
making that
Was
shorter.
that a comment where he's changing that?
Well, that's a comment by the consultant.
Correct. Is that one that, have you guys looked at that?
We don't agree with that.
Well, because you've got the hanging brackets for the canopies there, and they've got to tie back into something, and so suddenly,
I'm talking about
Oh.
the brick below the canopy,
Oh.
above the window. He's recommending a change of materials.
Before
And I
course
just
and
want to
measuring.
make sure I have an understanding of your desire.
well, what are you proposing there?
I'm proposing just a running bond on the lintel.
A running bond, okay, rather than the soldier course. Oh, I see now, okay.
Just, the idea is the canopy is the accent, not the soldier course.
Gotcha. So where, on the left-hand side of this elevation, you do have the soldier course for that now, and then there's is that a expansion joint, or what is that?
This is bumps out a little bit.
Okay.
versus the floor plan.
Right,
There's,
And-
I think a 4-inch bump out on these corner
okay.
elements.
Well, a 4-course high masonry header, well, a soldier course is only 3 courses high. So I don't know how you even do a 4-course high. And I'm not sure what it
A soldier course is the brick standing,
is. Up,
so 3 courses high.
it's 3 courses high, yeah.
I thought you were.
No, sorry, I'm just trying to,
We were talking about 3
I don't,
courses of soldier course.
that's not going to keeping it running bond is not a big deal to me.
And it looks like as he edited this, things moved around a bit because this, if you look, this soldier course over here is actually higher than the canopy. And there, it looks like it lines up with the top of the
Oh,
window.
yeah,
So
okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think
I think
this,
it's fine.
I think that's
getting it down, dropping that awning on there.
it's,
Just,
plus the awning is freestanding, so you're gonna be able to see around, yeah, I'm not. I do like, though, if we can get the window mullions in the top in this elevation, yes, get those. Okay. No, that's all right. I think it's continuous, so that having the divided lights up there, up high, provides some continuity between both buildings, if you follow me.
We're talking about simulated light lights, correct?
Simulated, yeah, we're not,
So it's still storefront, we're just going to.
still storefront, but looks,
So,
well,
so yeah.
Similar to that, yeah.
The herringbone field, I think
I
needs
don't-
to be as we have it shown.
yeah, I think it's fine.
So, I believe that it's really the other building.
I truly think the only thing on this is we reduce the number of brackets in the frieze, and we add the faux mullions in the upper line of storefront there, above the doors. But everything else looks pretty good. That's, again,
I think what you need to do with these is, so when you do a sign, their square footage is limited based this lighter herringbone in here, at least that square footage. So if it's 21 feet here to here, make this 21 square feet in here, so that your tenant has, that's the frame, not their signage.
Okay, that's a good recommendation, thank you.
So it might just have to grow up a little bit, so that, and then we'll try to keep the signage inside that, so it gives the nice background.
Okay.
Rather than, their sign goes all over, this whole thing, which just looks weird.
Okay. Have we looked at, all right,
This is
so,
the building, this is the Encore Parkway side of the other building.
So probably same comment on the window in the tower. Yep.
yep. The only thing that's a little bit screwy on this one is the storefront there at the lower floor. How do you get some divided lights or something in there to, because it looks like the head above the door, the header above the door is not the same depth as the other ones, if you follow me.
We can make an attempt to.
Okay.
To mimic the other one.
That's what I would do then, yeah.
I'm not sure if there's a head clearance issue, I don't think it is.
Well, I think even if you ran the mullions on the side windows in the door, right, you did similar to the front, right? You took the top section with mullions and then that little transom, just a couple of dividers in that transom above the door, right, to match
But the
the
other
scale.
windows have two
Yeah,
lines, maybe perhaps this one has just one.
yeah,
That's true.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So we don't have any.
So, I think we need to look, so this is seen on the patio, this is the other building, this is the Pittsburgh building. And this is seen on that patio. I think it's gonna look weird, those door heights are 2.5 feet different.
All right, so this is facing,
This is facing that patio,
and it's the Encore Parkway.
and then there's the Apple Parkway side of that, and then this is the other part of, so that building up here.
Right.
So I think this, I think this height here has gotta be the same.
I don't think there's a problem if we make them all the same.
Okay.
All the way around.
I think
I don't believe it's gonna be an issue.
it provides consistency and
Yeah.
get the same look.
If you sit and look, it's gonna be like, what,
Yep, okay.
what happened to Georgia here?
I'm not sure why they're lower on this one. I don't believe there's a structural issue, so it should not be a problem.
Now we're getting down to the detail.
Have everything on the same level.
Same little board, that thing on the top part of it.
Okay.
Frank's taking copies.
This is going to be a long one.
That's good, let's start it.
Well, all right. Anything else on exterior elevations and or materials that we haven't discussed or looked at this morning? All right. You know what? I'll do this. Is there any public comment about this application this morning? Any public comment? All right, no public comment. Very good.
Do we want to do a motion on this before we do
You know what?
landscaping? or do
We probably should, so it's fresh in our minds. We haven't, make sure, and it may be just a good chance to review what we've talked about before any kind of motion is made.
All right, well, let me tell you what I've got. So, look, first of all, question. So, where do we want to address the, I guess maybe we can take the patio plaza materials and all that and include that with landscaping?
Yeah, let's do that.
So we can set that aside for now?
Yeah, since we'd already done site plan, so, yeah. All right, we're just talking through kind of talking through the changes to the exterior elevations
All
right
right,
now.
so what I had is per city consultant comments, lower the clock tower and the C-store entrance. Add mullions to all of the storefront windows. Eliminate the faux windows on the towers and extend the top herringbone pattern to the sill level of the upper windows.
Okay.
Remove the brick detail over the C-store door. Okay, those were all the things to address kind of the city consultant comments. On the brick colors, I just wanted to clarify that the body is the Belfast gray and the accent is the velour black, only because the package had different colors than what we just saw. We're going to reduce the number of cornice brackets by about a third.
Okay.
And we're going to match the doors on the patio side of both buildings. That's all I had.
Got that, elevation.
I mean, there were a couple of other comments. You made a comment about the herringbone pattern over the storefronts to leave enough room for the sign. I didn't include that because they don't have specific measurements on those in here, so if they're adjusted a little, it,
No, I think it's, and they wouldn't have to, I mean, it's just something to, you know, as you're really nailing that down, that'll. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Just help.
right.
all
So
the
I,
way around the end.
so I didn't include that, and I didn't include the small comment about removing that gooseneck lamp over the canopy on the one side. I think if it's there or not there, I don't think it really matters.
Okay, before I'm,
Anything else?
I think you've, Frank, you've taken good notes.
Is that end of motion?
No,
That
that's
wasn't-
not,
that wasn't
not even a
even a
motion.
motion.
We're just kind of walking our way through what would be possibly a motion.
The
Now,
drawing one.
now, I'm going to ask a representative of the client or the owner. It looks like there's going to be some proposed changes to some of the elevations that we've looked at this morning. Will you be consenting to those changes?
The changes that we just discussed right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Yes, that was his third comment. Okay. All right, then let's proceed to try, attempt a
Formal motion?
attempt a motion.
Just a clarification, we agree that the arches that they had.
Are fine.
Yeah,
I think so. All right.
okay.
Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 220024, Amazing Development C-Store. Motion to approve the building elevation and materials as presented with the following conditions and clarifications. Per city consultant comments, lower the clock tower and C-Store entrance height. Add mullions to all of the storefront windows. Eliminate the faux windows on the towers. And extend the top herringbone pattern down to the sill level of the upper windows. And remove the brick detail over the C-Store door. Clarification on brick colors are Belfast gray for the body, velour black for the accent. Applicant will reduce the number of cornice brackets by about 1/3. And match the doors on the patio side of both buildings. End of motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
very good. A motion by Mr. Swing, a second by Ms. Rocco. Well done.
Well done.
Any comments or questions about the motion that has both the conditions and clarifications with it? All right, there being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed, no opposition, motion passes 6-0. Okay, elevations and materials are done. Let's talk about landscaping this morning. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for your patience this morning on that. There's a lot to digest. And after this, we may need to stand up and get the blood flowing in our legs again.
Walking through the landscape plan, we have developed a landscape plan to reflect full foundation planting along the frontage of both of the buildings. It's a varied landscape plan, have seasonal interest throughout the year. Where the grade works, we've added the sod line. Tried to show that on both sides here. We've adjusted the trees as far as the species per staff recommendations. So those are the two major parts of the landscape plan that we're adjusting per comments of last time. The plaza has been sort of enlarged to clarify how all of that flow works. You're actually just going all the way through those trees to the storefront. I think there was some clarification on existing trees that were to remain. Those have been cleaned up per the last meeting. There were actually, I'm going to say, some random cherry trees that were up here. But because of a site plan adjustment that added that sidewalk, those are actually being removed. So that's been clarified on this plan as well.
So one of the, speaking of the trees, one of the comments from last time was that sort of the street tree theme there is sort of cherries. Is there, have you?
Yeah, so the street trees are now matching. West Side Parkway continues the trees along West Side Parkway. And going on Encore, there are red maples on the next property up, and that's what we've used on those bump outs.
But on West Side, isn't that a cherry tree sort of theme along there?
So are these?
It says willow oak on the
Yeah,
diagram.
going up here and on the other side of the street are willow oak. So I don't know if there's an understory tree that, I mean.
I thought there were, I could have sworn there were.
If you go down to the townhomes, there are cherries.
You go all the way down and on the right side, those are all cherries.
Yeah.
But there's also street trees that
Yeah,
are not
street trees.
cherries.
Yeah, I think your cherries need to go up in here.
Sorry, we don't have any, the street trees are the willow oaks.
Yeah.
To match the street trees along.
Yeah, I think those would go somewhere up in here just to follow along with the themes.
You're talking about
Yeah.
here, changing those to cherry
Well,
trees?
or getting some cherries in there. You'll definitely get that at LDP with David.
Sure.
But, you know, if you can incorporate them in, you know, a couple here, you know, it's just to keep that kind of site feel. But the street trees, yeah, the street trees are the street trees.
Okay.
They weren't, the street trees were not all cherries. There was cherries mixed behind them.
Okay. Yeah, we can incorporate cherry trees. I think there was also a comment about potentially putting a tree in this plaza. That certainly could be a cherry.
Yeah.
And it's mainly on West Side, right, that we're talking about, right? To add some cherry trees in the landscaping on West Side.
Okay.
And what about adding a tree to the patio? We did talk about that last time. Have you thought about that?
So that, that one was one I'm gonna say, not discounting. It was just, we were gonna reflect that as part of the LDP process. Not that if it was required, we would incorporate that, but we just.
It seemed like you'd want some shade on that patio, wouldn't you? What are your thoughts, adding
You're talking about
in the patio,
the
yeah,
the plaza
500
or
square
the?
feet.
on the corner there, yeah,
Which,
in
which-
that patio
this
plaza,
pat-
yeah.
Well, we talked about, doesn't that have to have a tree in it?
Yeah, it'll definitely get a tree somewhere right
Yeah,
there.
so it'll, by code, it'll have to have
Yeah,
at least one. Okay.
yeah, they're showing the patio at 500, so it would just be one.
You know, just thinking out loud, maybe that, I know they're still kind of developing that area to get to the fine details. Maybe that's something as they further refine, it gets sent in and gets sent to staff or, because they're gonna have to incorporate a tree, right, somewhere in there, a shade tree.
Patio furniture.
Patio, yeah. So it's, I mean, it's a small piece of the entire project, but it's an important piece too.
Yeah. Get the fountain detailed down.
So just to be clear, the trees going up on the side,
Here's.
the new trees, what are those?
Willow oaks.
Willow oaks? Okay.
It's just very small.
Okay.
So one of the things we talked about last time was parking lot screening. And I think from west side, it seems like that's going to be pretty well screened. Just wanted to look at Encore for a second.
Yeah, I think.
Because I'm kind of thinking when you're coming out of the drive across Encore, you're going to be looking right up at the, kind of the parking lot, the gas canopy. So I wanted to just take a look at what kind of screening do we have there?
Yes, so all of this here those are full-to-ground evergreen trees.
Okay.
Those are trees. Okay.
Yes, I mean, so we're going, we're going well beyond the 2-foot hedge buffer. It's a full-to-ground evergreen tree.
Ground evergreen.
That's gonna be completely buffering that this portion of the parking lot.
Okay, and then how about that lower, yes, right,
Right in
there's
there.
6 spaces.
These are, do we have the? Sorry. These are also trees, but I think they're like a redbud cherry tree at the moment. So we can add some hedge there.
Yeah, and I think the intent is to block the headlights from a car that is parking in those
Yeah.
spaces. So how do we make sure all 6 of those spaces get some sort of a,
Is it gonna be some sort of a wall?
If we did that completely, then we'd need to realign that walk access.
yeah.
Is there a wall on the backside of that?
There is. So that sidewalk, as it meanders, it's going down to reach the street grade. So you can kind of see, we just put like a small wall along the back of the curb there to help us achieve that downward slope.
Welcome.
Is there any room to move this out to get a row of shrubbery here, or?
Yeah, I think we could pull that sidewalk out closer to the street to give you a strip for some shrubs, and we could make the grading work with that.
I think that could get you to
Yeah,
something in here,
absolutely.
and then maybe even something to drop down over the
Yeah,
wall.
Right.
it would be.
We'd be squeezing those redbud in, but based on the discussion, it's more important to have the screening of the shrubs than to have the redbud row there.
Yeah, we'll incorporate that screen.
Okay. Okay.
Is the intention the landscaping will be irrigated?
Yes.
Let's see, and you changed out, I think you did change out the trees at the top of the retaining wall, right? I think last time.
Correct.
River birch, and I think you
There's-
changed those out to something else. So.
They're now honey locust.
Honey locust, okay. Is that a good tree, Mr. Owens? I don't know that tree.
Yes.
Fine.
I'll make a comment on that in a moment when we go over after Ray is finished, when Mr. Myers is finished with his presentation. if you have more to say.
I don't have any.
Okay.
I'm here for questions.
All right, the tree selections are good, overall the plan. And regarding those trees, I have to make a confession about something I said last time. Frank asked the question, how tall does the sweet bay magnolia get? And I popped off and said 30 feet. They can do that, but it's also a tree that you can clip properly when somebody knows what they're doing and create a manageable sized tree that you're going to see through, because that was the interest on both parties' side, to be able to see through that as you were coming in or out of the gas station checkpoint. And it's also important to just make clear that oftentimes a design of a landscape with planting can be subjective based on the theory of the person who's doing it. I do notice in this plan, you've got large groups of single species trees, and across the site, you do have a lot of variety. I'm speaking about the honey locust and the southern magnolia and the black gum and the redbud. In some of those places, I would suggest that you look at, instead of having a long, broad grouping of over 15 or 20 of those trees, maybe you keep the end space to frame in the tree grouping with your major tree selection and complement that between those ends with another tree that would not rely on that one species for that whole grouping. Maybe the difference would be you've got the black gum for a street tree on that Encore Parkway side away from the building. That red display in the fall would be pretty striking, and people will go to ride by and like it. But where you have a large number of redbud or the honey locust or the others. Also this question, Mr. Myers, on the slope underneath the southern magnolia that you have along Encore Parkway, what's going to be the ground cover on that slope where it's steep?
Currently, we were just having that be a mulched area.
Okay, all right. That southern magnolia gives you a great opportunity to put something in front of it that you might want to show off, maybe a grouping of redbud, whichever your favorite redbud is, and also it's important that the owner understand the importance of allowing those southern magnolias to grow full to the ground, so that when the leaves fall, they fall within the skirt of that magnolia and don't fly all over the place. Because when people don't do it the right way, someone will come to the owner and say, well, look at that mess. And then they'll change out the tree, and they'll get a tree that's worse than the selection of the southern magnolia. Those are my observations, and you can plug those in as you will. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Mr. Rowan, you're not making those specific conditions, they're just suggestions.
That's not yes, that's not a condition that you got to change this plant grouping. Because again, this is, it is a subjective situation. One artist is not going to paint a landscape in the same way as another person. It's an interpretation of presenting that piece of art. But those are simply suggestions from me.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Owens.
So what do we want to do with the, going back to what we talked about in the very beginning, the patio knee wall and patio that patio boundary, what that's gonna be, a railing or whatever, I guess we said the fountain will be staff approval. What's the patio plaza materials? I mean, we want that coming back, or all staff approval, and then we got patio furniture we gotta see at some point to that.
So I'll ask the applicant, how close are you to submitting for a land disturbance permit or to move forward with this?
Maybe about 2-3 weeks away. We're working on civil plans right now.
So you're pretty close?
Yeah.
Okay. So you'll have to have most of these details refined in that 2 to 3 week period then?
Yes, we'll definitely include specifications for the hardscaping in our package.
Okay. Well, we're conceptual, and I know we want to see, or would like to see some of the details.
Yeah, because the hardscape, especially that with the patio plaza material is kind of key, I think. And that, what that knee wall is going to be, you got a 4-foot wall facing the corner, what that material is.
Well, we either have them come back to us, or we have staff kind of be our eyes and ears on that.
What are your thoughts
when
on
they
that?
submit for?
I mean, I think
I guess you could have.
I think we could probably do it.
And if you're not comfortable, you bring it back.
Yeah, staff's, I mean, I think we're competent enough to do it. I think we know now for sure what the materials are on the buildings, so definitely, I don't think we want the reds and stuff like that, so we're gonna be looking for something other than that.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's up to you guys, but I mean, we do it on other sites that don't have to come here, so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Before anything else happens, I'd like to make one other. We did a great job of looking at the two buildings. We've looked at the site. We've looked at the landscaping. We really haven't looked at the gas canopy island at this point. So, I don't know how we do that. Right now, we're on landscaping, so let's focus on landscaping, but I think we do need to make sure we're looking at that the canopy reflects the architecture of the buildings somehow. So, and I don't know that I've seen any drawings on that. So anyway, just throwing that out there before we. Okay, is there any public comment about this application on the landscaping piece? Any public comment? All right, no public comment. So if somebody wants to craft a motion, let's.
I don't normally do landscaping, but I could give it a shot. Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 220024, Amazing Development C-Store, motion to approve the landscaping as presented with the following conditions. Applicant will add some cherry trees in the landscaping on West Side Parkway. Add a tree to the corner patio plaza area. Add parking lot screening to the 6 spaces facing Encore on the right side of the property. Hardscape will be submitted for staff approval, including the following: material for the patio knee wall, detail of the patio boundary, the fountain detail, the patio plaza material, and applicant will submit patio furniture to staff for approval. And the motion.
I second.
Oops, I'm sorry. I have a motion by Mr. Swing, a second by Mr. Owens. Yes, Ms. Rocco.
Talked about the sidewalk, adding that screening of that wall.
The sidewalk where those 6 spaces were? Yes, he did mention that. Okay, Mr. Owens. All right, any other comments or questions about the motion? Well done again, Mr. Swing. There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed, no opposition. Motion passes 6-0. Very good. Okay. All right.
Who was the second on that?
The second was Richard.
Pictures or anything of the canopy?
Working on that.
Oh, okay, Brett's working on something with the canopy for us. We're almost done. We're very close. Let's just make sure we see. Yeah. So after this application, for those that are in the audience, we're just going to take a quick 5-minute stand-up, get the blood flowing break, and then we'll be back with Lucy's Steakhouse. So bear with us here. We're getting there.
Did you guys work on the canopy or Nate did, right?
It's neat.
Yes.
Would probably have been near the end of our package from last
I
month.
remember seeing it.
I think there was a video that, so. It shows the canopy. Nope, this one doesn't have it.
Last application.
I can pull that up.
I
can pull it. It'll take me,
Turn my computer on. So
it'll take me a minute, but I can get it up here.
I know we talked about adding brick columns. That was,
I don't know if that's what you're looking at.
or so maybe I am thinking of Valera, but.
So they were, let's see, they were third in the package. Make sure see where we are here.
wish they would give me the pictures. There you go.
We didn't talk about the retaining wall material.
It's not showing correctly.
We did last time. But we didn't approve it, but.
I haven't gotten any canopy.
They've changed it.
Since this was, it's only been the two.
Well, they had two options there, and we
So-
suggested one we liked.
So we can just talk about it, chevron canopy, and then at least,
No, we didn't talk about the monument sign either.
Well, signage will have to come in.
It's got to be separate, yeah.
This is-
Or building signs, we didn't talk about monument
maybe
or
something
building.
along that line with the
The
brick.
signage package.
Oh, there we go, that's it.
Uh-oh.
So the applicant is saying this is not site-specific, but this is the normal new canopy with the brick columns instead of stone showing here and the way it's illuminated.
Is that the way Circle K is doing their canopies?
So this site will be branded Chevron for the gas.
Okay.
And Circle K would be the C-store part.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
All right, so that photo on the right-hand side is a nighttime shot. So what does it look like during the daytime?
This.
So it's okay, it's a white fascia on the canopy?
The sides have white, the front is blue.
Okay. The sides are white, the front is blue.
So the front facing the store would be blue, and facing the cemetery would be blue, and then the sides facing
Encore.
Encore would be this end that's white with
Mostly
blue
white.
bottom.
Okay, and then we're talking about having bricked columns.
Bricked columns.
And is that the Belfast gray or is it the velour black?
We're open to either one.
Okay.
Probably to match the body.
And is it a single column or are they double columns to hold up the canopy?
There would be 2 columns.
Okay,
Just like in that picture on the right there.
okay.
The body of that has nice composition to it instead of being flat.
Yeah, it actually gives it a little bit of architectural character by kind of curving it or, all right, and then,
Does
so,
Chevron have a darker blue background that they could do rather than the,
No, this is the only one they do.
so I guess the question is from what viewpoint would you see the canopy? The gas island canopy? Because you really not, you almost don't see it from the intersection, obviously, because it's blocked by the 2 buildings.
yeah, I think you're mostly gonna see like this
A little bit on the corner.
and this.
And roughly how tall is that canopy from, I mean, I guess you've got to allow for trucks to drive underneath it, so you're probably at least 15 feet off the
I was going to say 18.
18 feet, okay?
Is it taller than the building height?
Can't know.
Well, not this one, because this one goes really high, the building, depending where you're standing, right?
Yeah, so parapet on these, normal parapet on these 2 buildings is, you think about the same or?
About the same with the parapet on top, probably.
I don't know that we have another gas station that I can think of in Alpharetta that the canopy is behind
Yeah,
the buildings.
yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna see this much, really. I like that the ends are white, because that's what you're mostly gonna see if you see anything is the ends. Maybe a little of the corner.
Okay. And the,
What if we just did it non-illuminated?
I mean, as it is, like the side is all hidden. So if you take away that, then at night it's just going to seem like, if people don't know, it's just going to be dark and you won't be able to see anything.
actually, at nighttime, it kind of almost disappears in that picture on the right. At nighttime, everything, I mean,
It's pretty low light.
yeah. Okay.
I'm okay with it.
All right, so the columns get bricked in with the Belfast gray. The ends of the canopy are the white. It's got some curvature to it or some, I mean, it's not just a flat fascia that we're looking at all 4 sides of the canopy. So it's got some character to it. Okay. All right. I think I'm okay.
We don't need any motion or anything on
Well,
this?
we probably should, just to make sure that, I know we talked about it, I think we need to make a motion. Now, this leads into another one. Signage. Will you be coming back to us for any signage?
We have sent a sample mock-up of the sign if you guys want to see, but yes, we would be coming back otherwise.
Well, that's right, we don't need to see, I guess, I'm just thinking the monument sign.
Well, the monument signs, yeah, we saw, so I assume they'll do the same brick, Belfast brick that, you know, they
Okay.
showed us the.
All right, just want to be sure, okay.
Yes.
Or they come up with a signage package.
Yeah, they probably need to do a little package for the others, or at least to give some guidance on,
Yep.
you know, what they want that other store and the restaurant to.
I agree.
To kind of follow, so,
Yep,
yeah,
okay.
we'll try to develop a little something.
Okay,
The
yeah.
the only discussion we had on that monument sign, because it was very, just sort of the, very pedestrian, plastic,
Yeah, we're gonna work on that part.
you know, gas station signs.
Yeah, because since it can't be the LED electronics, I think we need to try to make it a little bit more pedestrian friendly.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, we'll work on that background material and stuff a little bit. I mean, there's not a whole lot since they have to change those, but
Maybe, you know, even some framing around the top part of the sign or something to,
Okay, yeah, I do think we need to do something with the gas island canopy, just to go on record. I
how
know
do we
talked-
want to, I mean, we're looking at some pictures on the internet here. This is not actually being,
May I suggest something? What you're seeing on the right, the way it's described, it's level 1 canopy branding, which has the curvature features and all that. Chevron has different levels. So level 1 is basically their top tier branding with the curved sides and everything. The flat panel you're talking about, those are level 3, which is lower level. So if you want to identify that, you can say level 1 and you would automatically get all these.
and then you can email me that level one and I can forward it to you guys if it looks any different than this.
Okay,
all right. Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 220024, Amazing Development C-Store, motion to approve the gas canopy as presented with the following clarifications. Canopy will follow the Chevron Level 1 canopy standard. The supporting columns will be brick to match the building
Belfast
in
gray.
the Belfast gray. End of motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Swing, a second by Ms. Matherly. Any further comments or questions about the motion on the floor? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed? No opposition. Motion passes 6-0. All right. Thank you for your patience and time this morning.
Just one quick thing I wanted to mention, since it didn't come up, the retaining wall material.
Yes.
In the last meeting, you presented two options. We mentioned which one we preferred. We didn't talk about that specifically today, but that should be on record from last time,
I think that's
right?
inferred from.
That'll be on record from
Okay,
last time. Okay.
very good. All right. Again, thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Our next applicant is Lucy's Steakhouse. You're here? Okay. Give us a 5-minute recess to stand up and get things blood flowing again, and then we'll get going. So 5-minute recess. We'll be.
Yeah, good job.
Yes, you can. If you've got something to set up or bring down or get ready for, you can go ahead and come down to the. All right. Thank you. You're looking out after me.
I figured you kind of forgot.
But it's not gonna hold up your painting or interior stuff.
What do I do? Oh, my house? Oh, I do change colors a lot. Yes, I didn't get to use my sign. Yeah, he kept doing it. I was sitting there going, oh, I'll go hang out in the museum and look at stuff, and then I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go, and then they'd start making a motion. I'm like, oh, it's almost done, and then they'll be like, oh, wait, a canopy. I'm like, so.
You gonna review that plan with Michael, or
No,
no?
he sent me, he's like, the only new things, and he just emailed it to me, so I was like, all right, I don't need to come.
Yeah.
I just want to know where the, entrance.
Where that's gonna hit.
Yeah, because I put in the chat room, I said, can you confirm where the signage of the city comes out? Advertising or blue line. And there's a curb cut, and I said, can you confirm that that's where the entrance will be? And they said, no, it's going to be further downhill. So I'm like, you mean across my house? So I'm like, I want to know, am I going to have like headlights coming in? And I think it would hit the oak tree, so when, but my neighbor that's right there, that's the master bedroom window. And I can't, it's hard for me to screen that oak tree. So I'm like, just hold and that's what I was hoping there would be something that will tell me better where that entrance was, but there are a lot of people that are not thrilled about it. They want to just stay. Trees. I was like, if I want the water to dry,
You're still not allowed, right?
She's trying to bring in the energy that we move faster. I don't think this
Well, the
next
next two
one-
should quick. I'm serious. I'm done making motions.
Okay, I'll really pay attention. That last one was
Well, these
just
two should
so
be
much.
fairly
Some of it's not my language, and I say things like gross and it offends the architects.
I've been learning the language from these guys.
Yeah.
Because, I don't have any architecture background.
Here's my thing.
Like, I know the difference between a cornice and a parapet. Oh, vertical share. That one was fun.
Yes.
They started mentioning, the first time somebody said that, I was like, what is that?
It's better than that growth that's coming out the front of the building.
Growth.
Okay.
Or the leg.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, how are we doing?
We're doing good.
We've got
Just, okay, we need to wait till Alex comes back, right? Okay. And Kim is not coming back. Kim's, yes. Yes, that's probably a good idea. Where's? Holly, see.
Alex doesn't have to take these notes. She comes and goes. She just has to take notes of the motion.
Well, she needs to start the recording.
Oh, Kim left?
Yes, Kim had to leave.
Was the recording ever stopped? No.
Oh,
It never
okay.
stops, I
Well,
don't think.
do we need, I don't know that Brett can type as fast as Alex, so.
She'll be back to take a motion.
Okay, very good. All right. Sorry, did we lock you out? But you've got a key card.
Sorry.
You've got special privileges.
We wanted to see Brett take minutes. Yeah. You did that once or twice, didn't you? Yeah. You had,
He can just do voice memo.
Okay, let's end our recess and get started with the next applicant this morning, and that's Lucy's Steakhouse. So welcome, good morning. Like you did last time, if you make sure you introduce yourselves.
Yeah, my name is Ki-Young Kim, I'm architect, and we are providing some outside change, but the owner doesn't get the permit for that, so we apply for the request for the approval for the paint color. And I provide 3 options as I think Ms. Weir recommended, I think, last time for some change. I don't know, Mr. Hips, I think. But I have some simple color and with banded color changing. So I just brought the.
Okay, let's run through each of your options then.
Yeah.
And see. So is this option number 1?
It's just this.
On the monitor?
Yeah, this is just a simple one color. And we choose agreeable gray, Sharon Williams, but we provide color.
Oh, good. So these are the actual color samples.
But I think this is from the wood background. It's a little bit yellowish, but it's like, looks like color. It's more gray color. Can I read that?
I
Yes.
think, yeah, I think we all know agreeable gray pretty well.
Okay.
This is not correct color. This is more.
Okay, so these are the, all right. All right, very good. So we agree, okay.
So option one, the whole building is.
Yeah, simple, yeah, simple.
Okay.
With the, now the top, the cornice then is painted
Painted with dark color.
what's the name of? Iron ore.
Iron ore?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And second option is we just put the color, the light gray.
Mr. Owens, can you hold that up, please? So the middle one?
Yeah, middle one.
Okay.
And third option is a band color with a dark one. So actually, I personally like the second one, but I just provide some options you can look at.
Okay, so this is option 2. Okay,
Option three.
Three is a little darker color.
So option three is agreeable gray, and then.
And the
iron
last
ore.
one, yeah, third one.
and then it looks like the diamond materials are the, what's intellectual gray?
Yeah, some accent color.
Okay,
I like that.
it's not too bad, I mean,
So is this top cornice, is it that dark color?
Yeah, dark color, but that's the, actually we provide only, this is close to the last one, actually.
So the top color is not reflected on that page?
Is that iron ore?
Yeah, well, actually I specified it, but looks to me it's more darker than that, so that's why. But originally we specified that the dark color for the top cornice. So,
So you're gonna paint this entire top cornice the iron ore?
yeah,
Okay. So in this elevation, it would match
yeah, that's
cornice
correct.
and this match?
Yeah, that's the same color, but it's a different material, so color looks a little different.
So it'll look a little different,
Like
yeah.
that.
and then are the light fixtures, the wall sconces, are those being painted iron ore?
No, that's the stay as is.
Those are they black now?
That's the actual dark brown, I think.
Bronze,
Yeah.
bronze or brown?
Yeah, dark brown.
Say again, brown or bronze?
Dark brown, I think.
Dark brown?
Kind of chocolate color.
Chocolate color.
You know what, I took some pictures, let's see if I still have those.
But we can paint it if you want.
Yeah, they maybe should be black or the iron, I don't think brown fixtures work with these colors.
I think they're dark bronze.
Dark bronze, that's what I'm getting. Normally, that's what they would be, right?
Yeah.
Bronze.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is brown, I guess, but it's a different, yeah.
yeah, it's, yeah.
Dark brown, yeah.
They just,
Got that
This
little
is
more
a-
patina
they
look
just
to
be
it.
terminology, yeah, okay.
I guess I do.
It's a similar, almost the same color as the storefront color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so
usually
it's bronze.
Dark bronze maybe.
And what about we were kind of talking earlier about the stone at the bottom of the building. It
And
seems
we
like,
didn't touch any.
it seems like the stone needs to be painted,
One of the two colors.
yeah, to match the building, because
Okay.
it's more of that's more in the brown family, which doesn't really work now with the gray colors.
Agree.
Yeah, so if we were to do, like, if you stay there, if we were to do option 3, it maybe should be the iron ore color.
Darker.
Well, if it's darker, it's not gonna reveal you can look at, there's some mud and dirt stains.
Yeah, you won't see all that,
That would
yeah.
hopefully minimize that exposure.
Yeah, and the diamonds on this one we said are the intellectual gray, so you painted the diamonds, the gray color. Okay,
You don't like the accent?
I do.
Yeah, oh.
I was just clarifying
Keep
it, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, the way it is presented. So it would be option 3 with the water table painted iron ore, correct?
I think so, I think that's the one I like.
And then, I'm thinking, gosh, and then commenting on the lights as well.
As long as the lights are dark.
Yeah,
Then
I
the-
mean, they are here.
then
I
the
think
other,
the lights should be bronze, basically, right? They probably are already.
I think they're originally bronze.
Bronze.
Yeah, so just, we don't need a comment on that.
and the other thing is I guess there's the outdoor dining area, that canopy or that awning or that
Yeah.
structure.
It's a metal awning.
So that's probably bronze also, or?
Or-
Dark.
Or iron ore.
Dark, yeah.
Which is good.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of unfortunate. I hate to say this. It's unfortunate. This is a very well done brick building. And now it's being painted. So I think it's unfortunate you're minimizing some of the architectural character of the existing brick by painting this. But you kind of already started that. You already started peeling that onion away, so. Okay, is there any public comment about this application this morning? Any public comment? No. There being none, okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
regarding DRB 220031, Lucci Steakhouse, I make a motion that we accept the option number 3 as presented, with clarifications.
Water table?
The water table will be painted the iron ore color. And we want to make sure that the canopy over the patio is the iron ore color as well, to match the cornice. End of motion.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Rhodes, a second by Ms. Rocco. Any further questions or comments about the motion on the floor? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed, no opposition, motion passes 5-0. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gentlemen, there you go.
And here's your materials.
yeah, if you want to take your,
And then you can just have your landscape guy.
we'll keep that. Can we keep that? Okay, very good. You can take it. Okay, I'll give that to staff.
Might actually have been in the package.
Good, huh?
I think it was
It's in the, it was.
Yeah, there it is. It's in the package.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll just keep it for, wow. Okay, our next applicant is Alpharetta Commons. You're here. Come on up, come on down. Figured that was gonna take 30 minutes. Welcome back, Ms. Palmer. We're glad you stuck with us this morning. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Okay, I'll start, let's see. Here, I'll just pass those down.
Yeah, she was snacking.
Oh, and then I'll just kind of present this. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning and welcome. If you will, make sure you speak into the microphone, introduce yourself this morning, and give us an overview of what we have in our packet today, please.
My name is Mike Rossi. I'm the architect.
Okay.
I represent the property manager who's here with us as well. But we're basically just refreshing and repainting the shopping center known as Alpharetta Crossing up the street, a few minutes. And unfortunately, I don't have agreeable gray on my slate, but I got a gray. I got a requisite gray. I thought that was kind of popular. I also have my houses agreeable.
It's not quite as agreeable, but.
No.
Hey.
Anyway, so what we're painting here is the facade. There is a before and after picture if you wanted to scroll down a little bit. We also included, as of today, we brought in some side and rear photographs as well that have been revised and had the newer colors. So the color palette, as you can see, is could you go back to the, there we go, the city loft, and I've also got the samples up there. Those are actual samples. The city loft, which is probably going to be the majority of the color of the facade, the lightest color. And then features, some of the features are going to be outlined with some of the darker grays, the dovetail, which is the third color in the line, number 3, which is basically going to be used to outline the features, the entry features as we go along the facade. like the liquor store, the Publix, obviously, as well as the other restaurant at the far end, the Taco Mac. And the dovetail, which is colored which is number 3, also is the band just above the sidewalk elevation. You can see, thank you. And that's going to be contingent across the entire facade. That's going to be able to tie the facade together. The columns and the column bases will also be dovetail. Then a few of the other colors that we have, or the other color that we have is requisite gray, which is going to be down at the lowest level along the facade of the building proper, the face of the wall. We do have some split face block down there, and we wanted to bring that into the color palette as well. The last color we had, the urbane bronze, is the color of the roof that's going to be repainted over the Publix and all the coping, the metal coping that runs along the entire facade, giving that another consistent band going across the top.
Okay.
The initial, our intent was to paint the front and the sides of the building. We didn't have it in the budget to paint the rear of the store, of the facade. There are pictures there showing the rear of the building. That was just letting you know. There wasn't it wasn't in the budget to paint the back of the store, but the front and the sides.
But it shows, for instance, on this, what we're looking at on the monitor, it does show it.
It does show it. It does show it as painting. But there's also a before picture on this one, if you'll scroll to the end. There's not much of a difference in the color, if you can see it. I don't know if you can really see it. You can see it better up here. But yes, right where your cursor is.
So the proposal is to paint the front and the sides?
Correct.
But not the rear?
Not the rear.
Okay.
And the sign as well, I'm sorry.
And the monument sign, right?
That's correct.
You have 1 or 2 monument? How many?
I think we only have 1.
Okay. So in that upper right photograph there, I
Yes.
think that's the Taco Mac, and there's a kink there
Yes,
as you turn the corner. Are you painting
the kink.
the kink?
Yes.
The
We're
kink
going to go
part.
around and then paint that 45.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, very good. Yeah, I would consider this kind of a paint refresh, if you would call it that, so. Any questions, comments?
It's refreshing that you were painting materials that receive the paint and don't obliterate the material expression.
I heard what you mentioned in the earlier. There's a lot of brick detailing that was covered up in that previous presentation. So, but it seems to be a fashion now.
Mr. Chairman, regarding DRB 220032, I make a motion that we approve the painting designs as presented today.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Ms. Rocco, a second by Ms. Palmer. One thing I didn't do was ask for any public comment. Any public comment on this application before we vote on the motion, okay? No public comment? All right, so we have a motion by Ms. Rocco, a second by Ms. Palmer. Questions or comments about the motion on the floor? There being none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All opposed? No opposition. Motion passes 6-0. Very good. Thank you for your time this morning.
I'll take those off your hand.
Okay, there being no further business and with no objections from fellow board members, this meeting's hereby adjourned. All right, thank you. Ms. Palmer, thank you for bearing with us all of